How can I politely put this? The only words I want to come out of your mouth this entire podcast are, "Think you're right."
No.
Yes. Like, you need to say "think you're right" we do the podcast. Well, we supposedly do it for 30 minutes, but it usually turns into like 45 minutes. I want like 27 and a half of those minutes being "think you're right."
In Spanish.
Go ahead.
No.
That was English. Welcome to the Totally Spoiled Podcast.
Let me say it with an accent. No.
Much better. No.
No.
Episode 29 of the Totally Spoiled Podcast. It's Brian
Already?
Fink.
And we haven't killed each other?
I know, along with April.
Jeez.
April got her sunglasses on because we got new lights in here for the YouTube video of the Totally Spoiled Podcast.
It could be that, or also the fact that I've been up since 5 and I'm sleep talking right now, but you'll never know.
No, I will know. Actually, I won't know because it's the same thing every podcast. So we got a lot to talk about.
All right, enough of this extraness. All right.
So we gotta, you've got to tell me that I was right about So You Think You Could Dance. This is a tease, by the way. This is just a tease. You got to tell me I was right about So You Think You Could Dance. You got to tell me that I was right about The Sinner. I mean, like, there is tape of me being, I think there's tape of me being right about The Sinner. I don't remember if I mentioned it, like, during last week's podcast or if I mentioned it when we were talking in...
Or maybe I burned it and there's no proof.
Oh my God, how dare you!
It's all in your head.
We also got to talk about Galactoria, I think is how it's pronounced.
Come again?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And Ozark. We got to talk about Ozark. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. First, did you see this school in Georgia that wants to bring back paddling?
Oh, I did. I was like, what has Georgia got to do with this? Yeah, I gotta tell you, I agree.
Whoa! Shut up! Wait a second. I just need to check my Apple Watch really quick to see what year it is. You agree with paddling? Oh my God!
Have you seen?
Wait, we can just throw The Sinner. We can just throw Ozark. We can just throw Brian Fink. You're right out the window because this could be the totally spoiled podcast right here.
Have you seen kids of our generation?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Then do you not agree?
No, I don't.
A good spanking will go a long way.
Yes, I do agree with that. Okay, so there's this school in Georgia. If you haven't heard the story, there's this charter school that wants to bring back paddling. And what's even crazier than that is when I posted the story, somebody said there's actually a school in North Florida that's already doing it. Yeah.
Oh.
Which I didn't know anything about. And
Georgia's a little bit more southern, and I can see those things kind of happening.
So you think there should be paddling in school?
Yeah, I think if I were a parent, there would have to be guidelines and what's acceptable.
So the guidelines are it's on a third strike, and they actually sent a kind of permission slip home to the parents to sign that they can either be paddled on the third strike, and it's up to I think 3 paddles or something, and it's in an office, a private office. There's all kinds of guidelines with it. But either you agree to the paddling or you could be suspended up to 5 days, I think is what it is.
Oh, gosh. So these consequences are pretty severe.
Well, I mean, on a third strike.
Yeah.
And you're saying with the kids, I mean, absolutely. But I can't believe you agree about paddling.
See, I think most parents... I'm getting the impression you're not okay
I'm not.
See, I feel like majority of parents are going to be on your side because parents nowadays don't even believe in spanking their kid.
But, I mean, I'm not even a parent. Here's how I look at it. I believe in spanking your kid. I completely believe in spanking your kid. When I grew up, I was spanked. I think I was.
I'm sure you were.
I had...
Sure you were.
I don't even have anything to say back to that.
Okay, no comment.
I had my mouth washed out with soap by my grandmother and my mother.
See, I mean, that's your people stuff. That's...
How dare you come at my people? Wow, I don't even know if that's racist or anti-Semite or I don't even or anti-Canadian. I don't even know where you're coming at me with that.
Anti-Canadian.
I don't even know where you're coming at me.
I love your maple and I love your Niagara Falls.
Yes, my maple is very nice. I believe in spanking. I do not believe in a school paddling a kid.
Is it because it's not a parent?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think that the school should have the right.
You do?
If I did have a kid.
You do realize, though, that for the most part, kids are at school more than they even are at home.
Okay.
And a lot of the there's no convincing you.
No, I completely agree with that.
So to an extent, teachers are kind of like a second parent.
Yes. No.
So
yes. No.
No.
I just can't believe you agree with paddling. Like, just the thought, if I did have a kid, the thought of a school laying their hands on my kid.
Technically, it's not their hand; it's a paddle.
That's even worse. Oh my! Like, send my kid home, and I will paddle the F out of him.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's so, like, that blows my mind.
We can agree to disagree.
Mind blown.
One of these, yeah. I would be okay with that.
Wow.
Like, I don't think it's gonna. Realistically speaking, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Oh, I think it's already happening. I think it's like they're already implementing it, and they already sent the things home to the parents. Like I said, somebody said there's already a school in North Florida that's doing it.
I'd have to look that up. I'd be shocked. In Florida?
I'd be shocked in 2018 that there's paddling going on in schools. Again, I agree with spankings and everything done at home because that's the parent doing it. But when you've got a school stepping in and a school paddling, plus it just opens up like so much. Like, what if it's too hard? What if, like, can the kid come back?
Well, that's what I was getting at. There's got to be some regulation to it. But then again, how do you, with the example you just said, how do you even gauge or regulate the strength or lack thereof of a paddle?
Or if there's a nail in it.
And everyone nowadays, oh God. That would be fun.
That would be awesome.
That would be a story.
That would teach a kid a lesson.
or two. Oh God.
All right, let's do some spoiling.
All right.
At Brian Fink, at April on air. Thank you so much for following and subscribing to the Totally Spoiled podcast. We're going to talk about The Sinner. We're going to talk about American Horror Story, which I did watch last night.
Yeah, that's all you.
Did, yeah.
That's all you.
Really quickly, let's get So You Think You Could Dance out of the way. You could just tell me I was right. We can move on.
So
just tell me I was right. We can move on.
So Hannah Lay won.
Just tell me I was right, and we can move on.
I love how my chair is agreeing with me, and it's just turning on its own.
So
it's just, you're
we had talked about it. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was in the podcast. I think it was in the hallway where you were Team Jensen.
Yeah.
I was Team Hannah Lay, and I'm like, I'm telling you, Jensen's just got something about her where she's more. Dancing with the Stars, and I don't think she's going to connect as much with the audience.
The judges themselves said that, if you recall in one of the episodes. And what I think I'll call it too, and what I...
Is that I was right?
Oh my God, someone please.
Is that I was right?
Please, someone get him.
We got to move on. We got Ozark.
Can I get a dump button, please, for every time Brian says that dump button? Right? Yeah?
We got Ozark. We got The Sinner to get to. Okay. Just tell me I was right. We can move on.
No, we're gonna learn the acts of humbleness.
No, there is no humbleness.
So
Come on.
fun.
This is 2018. We're paddling kids in school.
Yes!
There's no humbleness.
Yes!
Tell me I was right. We can move on.
For the sake of everyone else, Brian, you were
right.
No.
So Hannah Lay won. No. Hannah Lay is the latest winner, So You Think You Could Dance. Oh, we got to talk about Galactoria, and I left my papers here.
I'm sorry. How?
Just stretch.
Oh my God! Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
He said stretch. He didn't say break it. Now he's screwed.
My paper is offset. I forget we got a set now.
Behind the scenes of Brian.
Yeah, you can see it on YouTube.
His OCD is quite tame.
We should have had our executive producer hand me the paper.
The one that's going to also give me the dump button for you?
I can't even say it with a straight face.
Please.
We were talking about, this was in The Sinner, I think it was last episode, we were trying to figure out how Vera was lactating when she wasn't pregnant.
Yeah, so did you get some information?
I did. You Googleized it.
You Googleized it. Oh, God, this is very scientific.
It is called Galactoria. It is. There's a lot of things that actually can cause it, like medications that you're on, or even medical conditions like thyroid issues, kidney or liver. But it is possible. They say reasons for lactating when not recently pregnant can range from hormone imbalances to medication side effects. Yeah, this is a thing. It's legit.
So was Vera suffering from some thyroid disease that we were unaware of?
She could have been on medications. I mean, it could have been tumors or disease like the hypothalamus.
Oh, I mean, we know how the show ends. Then we know what's going on. Then
right. And even chronic stress. I could start lactating right now. Get it on video
and go.
You know we've got video right there.
No, but I want this on my own phone because I don't think you're going to give that to me because I know you'll delete it.
Yeah, it totally will. If I start lactating right now, that's totally deleting. So, the sinner. Hold on, let me skip to my notes because I had Ozark first.
Okay, yeah.
There was a lot in episode 7.
Let me pull up my
And once again,
as we speak, yes.
Was I what? Was I what? Tell me. Tell me.
Dump button,
I was right. And again, I don't think we mentioned it in the podcast. I think we were talking about it
it was like
right
a casual
after.
hallway conversation.
It was literally right when we got done. I go, what if the hooded figure is Marin? And who was the hooded figure?
Marin.
I had this. It was either going to be why do I always forget his name? The Beacon.
You thought either the Beacon,
and then I forgot that he was dead,
or Marin. But with that said, let's backtrack for a second because we think he's dead,
right?
Just like we thought Marin was dead.
In the car and she wasn't in. Holy crap! All right, yeah, so Marin not dead. I mean, mind.
Well, we'll get there.
Well, yeah. I mean, she's actually dead now.
We'll get there. Surprise!
That wasn't her in the car, which I don't remember if I mentioned that in the podcast either. But once again, I think you're right. Yes, I know I was right. I was totally right.
Guys, now he's
I'd like to thank my mom who brought me into this planet. I'd like to thank God who gave me what is that? Like
this is a pretend curtain just going over you.
What? You're shutting my mic off? I'd like to thank
Mike, please.
Hear the music playing me off.
Excuse me. 1, 2.
So we found out that Marin did not die, and she was the hooded figure the entire time.
So then help me understand. Who the hell was that body that was at the bottom of the lake?
They said
because I don't think that's the Beacon either.
No. They talked about it kind of at the end. Heather talked about it, how it was some other. They think it might have been a suicide. Some woman that
unimportant character that had some correlation to do with Mosswood, and
all it was used for was to distract us and think that it was Marin, but it wasn't Marin. Okay. No. So Marin actually left Mosswood, went to a nunnery. Is that what?
She had like one stop prior to that, I think, to try to get help.
No, she had she said that she went to bad places.
Yeah.
And got into drugs hardcore.
And eventually just try to find herself. So she went to
the Grey Daughters.
Yes.
Which was, it's a nunnery or
yeah.
Whatever the word is. I'm Jewish. I have no idea. My people.
I'm not. What was that? Your
my people. Okay. But I can say that.
My people.
You can't say that.
No, I can't say it. And I should have said our people because my father's side, okay, you're Jewish, but my father's side is German, and he did the mouth-washing soap BS thing, and we never did that.
You're German. I'm staying far away from you.
Whoa, we don't have to go to a dark place either.
No, we went to a dark place.
We don't have to go to a dark place. We're friends sometimes.
Yeah, not on the podcast, though. So, Marin ended up leaving Mosswood, got hardcore into drugs, then went to this, whatever this was, a nunnery or whatever, to get herself cleaned up and be sober. And then once she actually went back to Mosswood.
So, there was major flashback.
Yeah.
In this episode. Major flashback. So yeah, continue.
She went back to Mosswood to try to convince Vera to give her Julian. She wanted to take Julian, which
she didn't.
The weird part of this is that in the flashbacks, like when we see her giving birth and Julian kind of somewhat growing up as a young kid, I kind of got the feeling like she didn't want the baby.
No, she didn't. And that's what Vera is using as leverage to be like, Vera, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. And
used as leverage where she's like, no, you gave him up. That's my son now. And she basically ended up kicking Marin out. Like, you need to go.
And they even flash back. Do you remember the scene that I had talked about a couple of episodes ago where we had seen the hooded figure getting carried out?
Oh, yeah.
They flash back to that in this episode where Marin shows up. What? Oh, you said it! Oh, my God! You said it! Let me get that for you.
Myself.
Let me get that for you.
No!
I got that. Hold on. My mom is calling you. Mami!
Hey, mami, espera un segundito. O yo te llamo para atrás.
What?
Yeah.
Did you say I was right again? Is that what you said in there?
No, I said I'm dealing with quite the character right now. I'm
yeah, you are.
Call her back.
Yeah. So, what were we talking? Yeah, I just had to throw those aside.
It's not important anymore.
No, we dealt with the lactating. I don't need that on my table. It's screwing me up. So she goes back, but the reason I brought that up was it was weird to me that it was so important for her to get Julian back.
Yeah.
Is that a motherly thing that I guess kicked in that all of a sudden she's like, I want my child?
Absolutely. And we get a little bit more insight into that when Heather mentions just the past of her and Marin, just the friendship, and whatnot, how apparently all she ever wanted was a family, which we never got kind of much insight into that. At least I didn't.
Right.
But when Heather goes into explaining, you kind of know that, effed up situation with her and her mom and them not getting along. And she goes further to clarify how she was always there with Heather and her dad for the holidays and would never want to go home, kind of leading on to the fact that, this is what she's always wanted.
She just wanted a family.
She wanted a family. When she had Julian, she just, excusable, not excusable, whatever, wasn't ready, but she wants to come back on her time, and, things just
Vera Vera was having
her way.
None of it. Vera's like, you didn't want this kid originally. I pretty much adopted this kid. This is my kid. Get out of here. Yeah. You are not dealing with it.
Yeah.
And then we see her and Bess trying to set up the whole plan. Which, wow, I mean, everything,
that blew my mind. I didn't expect that. And remember, because we were talking about it, why are they taking Julian? Why does he not have any clothes? Why is there a storage unit with all
who's living in that storage?
Who's living in it?
This episode answers everything. If you had missed all you had to do, the only thing that still hasn't been answered.
What?
Is how Harry and his mom get out of the house. So I don't know if that's just not going to be addressed. Like we already found out that Harry lit the fire. I don't know if that was the important part, and we're just not going to go back to that.
That, and I think also what really happened to the beacon.
Well, I mean, they could address that, but maybe it's just one of those things that we're supposed to understand that she poisoned him with the tea, just like Julian did.
Was it crazy? Little squirrel moment right now.
Okay.
So Julian poisoned Bess and Adam. Adam, right?
Yeah.
With the
I don't remember what the weed is. Yeah, that.
It was the same for the sake of the show. Let's call it the goji berry.
Okay. Why you got to do goji berry? I actually like goji berry.
Just cause.
Hold on. While you're talking, I'm gonna try to go back and find that.
To see, because I know it was in your notes too. How Julian poisoned Bess and Adam with the
Jimson weed.
Jimson weed. That's the same stuff Vera used.
Vera, go ahead.
Here we go. Thank you. To give the beacon. I'm almost positive.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's that. We're under the impression that that's how Julian learns to use the Jimson. That's
exactly what I was getting to. If he learned that from
I'd imagine that's what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And then so we learn that the hooded figure is Marin. Marin sneaks into that juvenile center, whatever that house is where Julian is sleeping.
Right. Steals
him away. Tries to head to. Oh, did we finish? So So they came up with a plan for Bess and Adam to help Marin out to steal Julian. That's what that whole plan was.
Did we get any insight on how they took him and how Vera didn't notice?
No.
Because I thought that was interesting.
It was just a snatch and grab.
Yeah.
Just a snatch and grab. And I mean, we see the flashback of them kind of with Julian and figuring that whole thing out. And
going to Niagara Falls.
Yeah, the whole story was they were going to Niagara Falls to meet with Marin.
But Julian didn't know that. Julian probably thought it was a field trip.
Right,
That's
absolutely.
probably how he got away with it.
Absolutely.
And without asking questions or being freaked out.
And we learned that it was Marin in that storage unit living there.
Crazy.
At Niagara Falls, and that's who they were going to. That's why the box of clothes was there for Julian.
Insane.
I'm having trouble like keeping like all my thoughts together because I'm really hungry right now because is
that what I'm hearing?
Side note, April wouldn't let me eat before the podcast. She's like, no, we got to do this. We got to do this now. If you want to do this podcast today, we got to do this now. I'm ready. Let's do this now. I think those were your exact words.
I also sound just like that too.
You did.
Pero todo en español y me hiciste caso, okay?
See?
Ya,
exactly.
See? That's more like it.
Ja! I love that.
Yes.
Ja!
More like that.
So
and I scared him.
Marin steals Julian from that, whatever the juvenile center is, the juvenile house. They're on this little road trip. Julian starts freaking out when Marin tells him that he's her mother. And they take off in the woods. There's a lot that happened in this episode.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, did it just take Marin telling him we're going home for him to agree to go with her?
Well, I don't think he did because he was
but he got in the car.
Yeah.
And then he realized, hey, this car ride's a little longer than usual. I don't think we're going home. And that's where he starts to like frantically panic.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
And first of all, he bites her, takes off into the...
yeah.
So anyway, so they
troubled kid, poor kid.
They come back to the van, see the cops are there at the van, so they take off on a bus ride to Niagara Falls, and Julian has one of his fits on the bus ride. And so I'm trying to figure out, is it kind of like a panic attack that he's having? Is that what these fits are?
But honestly, in this case, Brian, I think it was just full-on remorse and disgust with yourself where it's like you don't know what to do and you just want to even get out of your own body. Because at that point, he realized he killed 2 innocent people that were only trying to help him, and now who he knows is his now mother.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh my God, what did I do?
And everything's settling
Everything just settled and it hit him and he was just probably nauseated and wanted just an out-of-body experience. That out-of-body experience comes through the convulsion and not knowing how to deal with it because at the end of the day, he's a kid.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of fit that he was having like when he was at the police station.
And was being interrogated?
And he was being interrogated. It was the same kind of fit. So it kind of leads me to believe it's like a panic attack or an anxiety attack of somebody just just freaking out.
I think those are all components. It's panic, it's anxiety, it's remorse, it's he's overwhelmed.
Right.
Overwhelmed by emotion. So yeah, absolutely. I think it's all of the above.
So they're on this bus ride. They get to this Indian resort that's kind of splitting the border of U.S. and Canada, and they figure out that that's how she's going to try to sneak Julian into Canada so that she can get away with it because she calls Heather, and she's like, don't follow me, and Heather's like, sorry, dude, gotta follow you.
Was it kind of weird that you thought she called Heather? Like, did she really think Heather was going to help her?
I think she was trying to, because I had flashbacks of back when they were kids and Heather was just trying to help her and she was like, I don't want your help. It's that damaged child syndrome where you try to help somebody and they're like, I don't want your help.
Yeah.
Let me do it myself. And then they always somewhat come back and, it's...
Right.
It's completely understandable of what she's doing, and that's what she did. She was telling Heather, don't follow us. And of course, Heather's like, I'm the popo. I gotta follow
you.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
And so they go to the resort or the Indian reservation, and they show up to the cabin, and there's Marin laying dead from a gunshot. And Julian is gone. Which we also learned that Vera and her people figured out where they were going.
That's what I was going to touch on. So when the detective, Harry, asks her what she knows or who he's with, and what does she say? I need you to call. At that time, did she say
the Grey Daughters?
Yeah, so she knew over there what her, because she didn't use the name Marin.
She used Laura.
Yeah, which was, I guess her pseudonym or whatever.
Who knows?
We didn't know that at that moment, obviously. No. But I thought that was crazy. So this whole time, obviously, she knows Marin is alive.
She knows everything.
She knows where Marin's been this whole effing time. And still...
that's what I was telling you. Where you're like, I think Vera has turned a corner. I think she's remorseful. I told you, once again, what? You can say it in Spanish.
Stay in your corner.
Say it in Spanish.
No, stay in your corner. I'm going to say something else in Spanish.
I was saying that she's still holding back and she's still lying about everything. And we see here that she knew where Marin was. She knew what was going on. She knew how to find her. And then they figure out from the ticket in the Bible of where she was going.
Yep.
And so we're under the understanding that her people got there before Heather and Harry did. And I'm guessing that's who, because I don't think it was Julian that shot her with the gun.
Oh.
You thought it was Julian that shot her?
Yeah.
Really? I don't think. Now, it's one thing to poison somebody because...
Oh, snap, hold up. And this may
hold
be
on
a
second.
different conversation.
So, but Julian already has remorse. He's already learned that people just don't reset when you kill them.
But he's also not well up here.
I get that.
Mentally, he's not stable.
But he's already...
You keep seeing references and shots back, which this is kind of so people can kind of follow. Kind of backtracking a second. So even when Marin goes and gets Julian, why she has a gun, I'm not quite sure. Maybe just for self-protection.
Absolutely.
But keep it hidden, man.
Right, yeah.
Girl, keep it together.
Sitting there on the dashboard.
Sitting on the dashboard. Then she just openly just puts it in one of the zippers of the book bag she's carrying. Gets to the reservation, and it's just sitting
It's just sitting out on the couch.
Sitting out there like nothing. Like it's like popcorn for the community.
Right.
Yeah, great. Total sense, right?
So you think Julian
keeps looking at it,
gun.
And the camera keeps flashing back to it for certain shots. I thought it was really creepy that towards the end, before the very final last shot, where it's the police coming, Harry, Heather, etc., and she's literally dead out on the concrete, bullet right through her freaking stomach. If that's not graphic, I don't know what is. And I'm thinking, backtracking again, she's on the phone with someone. Who was it that she's like, what did she say? I'm here. We're here. And in a super kind of like mysterious, kind of almost dangerous voice, like, he's here with me, or we have made it here.
Yeah.
Or whatever, like super like intimidating. And one of those last shots is Julian looking at the gun, the camera flashing to us, direct shot to the gun, ending with Marin.
And then she's dead.
So
I think that the reason they did that was for people just like you. Who are going to believe that?
Got me.
Gullah.
Got me.
Gullah.
Bull. I'll say to that one. I won't say the other thing. But
I think the reason they did that was to set up the whole confusion and to make you think that Julian. But I think the reason Julian keeps looking at the gun is because I don't know if he's ever seen a gun. And because he's been at Mosswood almost the entire time, almost his entire life. So I don't think he's ever...
He knows what it is.
Yeah, but I don't think he's ever dealt with a gun before. And I think that's why he kind of keeps looking at the gun. I don't think there's any way he shot her. I think we see by the remorse, we see by everything that he's realized he murdered a couple of people and how much it's screwing with him. So he knows that by killing somebody, they're not just going to reset.
Fair enough.
I don't think he's going to kill somebody else like that, grab her gun and kill her.
There might be some logic to your madness.
What I think happened is Vera's people got there. I don't know what happened when Vera's people got there, but that's my guess is whoever got there shot Marin and took Julian. That's my guess.
And what was the whole point of... Is it a possession thing, an obsessive thing, where to shoot her? It's like if Marin's not going to get him, no one's going to get him. No, I'm going to have him. Like, is that like Vera's perspective?
But here's the thing. With her being outside of the cabin and not inside of the cabin, it makes me think that maybe there was a struggle or something. Somebody took Julian, which brought them outside of the cabin, and then she was shot. There's got to be some reason
why she was out.
Or whoever she called on the phone, maybe the beacon?
Don't know. No way.
I'm just saying, whoever she called on the phone, maybe they were leaving, and then whoever that was turned on her and shot her and took Julian. Maybe that's what it was.
Jeez.
Maybe, and this is I'm just throwing these out there so you can tell me I'm right later. Maybe it was Heather's dad that she called. And Heather's dad came.
Oh, snap. I didn't even think of that, because that's another thing, actually, that since you spoke about this, that isn't clear. What is Heather's role in all of this?
Well, what's Heather's role or Heather's dad's role?
Heather's dad's role in all of this.
That's why I'm thinking that he's going to come back in this finale. That's what I'm thinking.
Ooh.
Just get it ready. You can record on your phone.
No,
you can record on your phone.
I'm good.
Just get it ready.
No, I'm good.
Mark it down right now.
Okay.
Mark it down right now.
Oh, are we getting like specific, like a time?
I'm just looking at times. Yeah, I'm just
looking
at times that mark it down that I said that it, and if I'm wrong, I'll just
Where's
I'll
my producer?
just delete
Where's
it out.
my dump button?
If I was wrong, I'll just delete it out in post.
Of course. Of course.
Maybe it's Heather's dad that she calls to say we're here. Maybe he's got some kind of play in I don't know. But he hasn't been touched on in a while. Which makes me think that he's going to come back in the finale.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. So we've got the finale. Okay. I mean, everything was wrapped up. Now it kind of moves on to kind of finishing everything. And yeah, one more episode. Ozark.
Interesting.
We got to go through Ozark fast.
Yeah, I know.
We got to, and the problem is that there's a lot of stuff. So let me just look at my notes. I'm going to roll down like all the notes that I took and feel free. I don't even know, how far are you in?
So we covered episode 1 and 2 last week.
Right.
We've got 3 and 4 for this week.
But I also watched 5 and 6.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so I have no idea. And like I said, I was just taking notes. I wasn't marking what episode it was in.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. So I'm just going to roll through some notes
here. Keep rolling until I.
So FBI.
Hold on. Before we continue, we had another side conversation saying that no one died. I'm sorry. Episode 3 starts with the politician
killing himself.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So someone else died. So who was right?
Wait, you didn't. That was. Don't even try turning this. I was right.
No, because I asked if anyone was right. Because I asked since episode 2 if anyone else has died.
But I didn't want to ruin anything. Okay, so one of the politicians, the politician that they blackmail, ends up killing himself. The FBI is shutting down Marty's businesses, which gets Rachel back into the picture,
right?
Because Marty reaches out to her to trust her. So that's how she gets back in.
Clearly, she's not one to be trusted.
Not because she's working with the FBI.
Yeah,
and she is a nutcase. She is a nutcase. The son is selling schoolwork, and makes his first kill because the Snells take the son out hunting with them, and he kills his first deer. Which, by the way, not to stop for too long, but I don't get hunting.
I don't either.
Oh,
never did.
It is so disgusting.
To make it worse, too, we sound hypocritical because I know neither one of us are like vegans or vegetarians, but there's something about doing that and then eating the animal and going through that whole process, and then you notice, so the son kills the animal and the parents have to eat it.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
That was very interesting. I mean, the Snells are nuts. The Snells are nuts. But the son also has a fake passport that he creates. Like, he goes to the bank and has the daughter like be on the phone as the mom.
And pretend as the mom. Do we know why he took out that amount? What was it, like $500 or $5,000?
No, that was his half of the takeout. No, he deposited it. We should watch the episodes together because you veer So he took his half of the money that the daughter gave him, that she split the $10,000.
Yes.
He took his half of the money, deposited it into accounts that are not under his name, that are under the name of the fake passport that they got when they were trying to leave.
So weird.
He creates those so that if the kids do go to jail or something happens, they can't get that money because they can't figure it out because it's not under his name. It's under the fake name. Yeah, the son is diabolical.
Insane.
How about the Snells having sex?
Oh, my God. Yeah, I was not expecting that. I was like, what is going on? For a second, I thought it was the FBI agent and Rachel. I just was not expecting that.
I thought it was like Marty and Wendy. I thought it was anybody but the Snells having sex. Oh.
And then, that was pretty much, that was me. And then, yes.
Hairball.
And then his comment or comments. Oh my God!
I could have done my whole lifetime without seeing the Snells having sex.
That?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for the cherry on top, he's being super like perverse and just a Snell. He's being a Snell.
He's snelling. He's snelling.
Gonna be my new term when I'm talking about things.
He's snelling.
No one's gonna understand me, but then when you hear it walking down the hallway, yeah, he'll get it. Yeah, he's snelling.
I don't snicker like that. So what's the snelling?
Well, no, he's just being a Snell. And then they go into Mrs. Snell
talking about wanting the kid,
wanting a baby.
Yeah.
And being so serious. Like, she was actually, like, really wanting a baby.
Well, we know that. I mean, she went to adopt, and we saw how serious she was there.
And, yes, but maybe it was a phase. Maybe it's just from what had happened. But she's serious, and Mr. Snell was just kind of like, well, honey, don't you think we're a little old for that?
And then he ends up getting that kid, like this random kid that he brings, and he's like, here you go, here's your kid.
Is that not even weirder? Like, is this what we do? Is this
Hey, honey, I got a kid.
Is this a 2018 thing too, as well? Like, we're literally spanking and paddling, and then what else? And then we're also just picking up kids.
Yeah, but it's a Snell. You figure that he can get whatever he needs, and obviously he could get some random kid that he's like, here you go, honey.
Look,
here's your kid.
Look, Finky, it's 2018. Nothing surprises me anymore.
What about the FBI agent masturbating to the recordings?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
What is happening? Ozark has taken, like, a major left turn. I'm like, what am I watching now? Should I be watching this?
Horrible.
What is going
on? This FBI
on?
agent is a nut.
Okay, we talk about the Snells being nutcases.
This FBI agent.
We got a lot of those.
Just continuing down the notes here really quick so we can wrap up the Totally Spoiled podcast, because I know we're at like an hour and a half by now probably. The FBI raids Marty's house. They bring Marty in for questioning. His lawyer is the cartel's lawyer.
How the tables have turned.
Oh, my God. Wait, did we know that it was the FBI agent that unwired the dock to save Marty? We didn't know that, did we? We thought it was... Did you miss that?
I didn't.
Is that not... Oh, I might be saying stuff from future episodes. Yeah.
Rewind.
I'll cut that out in post. I'll go into your brain. I'll cut that out. Oh, man, then I don't even know if, like, the stuff that like going to be saying.
Please. This is all about spoiling.
Do you know about the daughter hearing them arguing and them cheating? Oh, you don't know that? Okay, I'll stop there. I'm just going to mention like quick things. Oh my God. Do you see Wendy telling the FBI agent to GTFO?
Are you talking about once they've been, because they got broken into the house?
It didn't get broken into. It got raided.
Well, yeah.
It's called raiding.
When it's the FBI, I guess it's not breaking.
It's not breaking in.
I guess it's not breaking in.
But the FBI agent comes back and starts talking about the kids and everything, and Wendy says, get the F off our property.
Yeah. I think it's kind of right around.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about with that. Did you see the FBI agent trying to turn Ruth?
No.
Okay. Did you see Ruth's dad when the cartel shows up to Ruth's house and Ruth's dad coming out with an AK?
Definitely did not get that.
Did you see Buddy pretty much almost being like dead. Okay? Did you see Buddy going to the poppy fields and setting them on fire? Oh my God, you've got so much.
What is happening?
Did you see?
What
did you
is
see
happening?
Ruth? Did you see Ruth getting what's it called? Waterboarded? Oh my God, you've got so much.
What is happening right now?
That's what I'm telling you.
Stop it.
Okay, I'll stop.
Stop it.
That's what's coming up for you. There is so much. Like when I told you that there's a lot, there is a lot. Ruth gets waterboarded. And it is...
Now you need to tell me by who?
By the cartel. So they're trying to figure out if Ruth could be trusted. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
wow.
It is so good. Like, I'm grabbing onto your chair. I'm like, it is so good. Oh, my God. Okay, so that's all coming up for you. Really quickly, I watched Apocalypse, American Horror Story, and I have not been a fan of the past 2 seasons of American Horror Story.
So we can cut it out. Great, awesome, perfect.
Yeah,
so
but it's not even that creepy. Like the stuff that happened last night or whenever it was, Wednesday night.
I saw a preview with Karen.
With who?
With Karen, front desk.
Oh, I'm like, what?
Karen, come
was
on,
Karen in the episode? Because I don't remember that character.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be cool.
Be good.
Yeah, so
I might watch it in that case.
The premise behind it is that there is a ballistic missile attack and like countries get wiped out and only a select people get to go in like underground bunkers. The rich and then some people that are selected for something in their genes. Those are the only people that survive as of right now.
Oh.
So right now, like it's just a story of them being in this underground bunker, and I'm telling you, it's not creepy yet. Like there's not. It is gory and violent.
Yeah.
Like they're blowing people's heads off.
Are there masks and creepy?
Oh, there are
people?
masks.
Yeah, see,
there are masks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why me and The Purge don't get along either. Whether it's the movie or the series, because I've heard a lot of people talk about the series and how apparently it's really good.
Yeah, the commercials look really good, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it freaks me out because they always come on in between the center, and I literally have to fast forward and do one of these numbers. Like if you're watching the podcast, you can kind of see how ridiculous I look right now.
I mean, you always look ridiculous. So, Apocalypse...
I'm going to let him end the show completely by himself because I haven't slept. I've got blinding lights on my left side of the show while Brian, princess over there, doesn't have to. Yeah, okay.
Welcome to the Totally Spoiled Podcast with Brian Fink and Brian Fink. Thank you so much for subscribing and following to the Totally Spoiled Podcast.
Yeah.
At Brian Fink, at April on air.
Yeah.
You can tweet us.
This is...
We're rapping. We're rapping because I'm starving.
Food and take a nap.
I'm starving.
This has been a show.
Thank you so much for listening to the Totally Spoiled Podcast.